If I could go back and start my business again, these are the 5 things I would do ASAP. Number 1 is my favorite and the best advice I could give you. But number 5 is going to help you feel joyous and fulfilled along the way. Number 1, this is the most significant advice I can give you, which can apply to your business, but also every area of life. The more I follow this strategy, the more I use this in all different areas of my life, the bigger success I get. And not only short-term success, but long-term success. In 2 words, get wisdom. You see, the funny thing about this is when I look back at my first business and I think about how I was making thousands of dollars a month, I laugh a lot of the time because I realize how much of a fool I was. Or a different way I can say this is how much wisdom I was lacking. And this is why I'm so confident today, because I have all of the knowledge and expertise that I had from then, but I've got so much more wisdom now, and that wisdom continues to increase on a day-to-day basis. So let me give you an example. I made so many decisions back in the day which lacked wisdom. So my first YouTube channel ever, which was one of the main traffic sources for my business, was in the financial industry. And the reason I'm highlighting this is because that is notoriously one of the highest paying markets out there in regards to the revenue that YouTube will pay you for advertising on your videos. If you don't know, YouTube will pay you money for every single video you produce on your channel. They will give you money for showing ads on your video before, after, during, etc. And little old me with my few thousand subscribers, and bear in mind, this was nearly 10 years ago, and at this point, you didn't even need to hit like 1,000 subscribers or 4,000 watch hours or anything along those lines, which are things which people today complain about as if it's very difficult. Back then, the threshold was tiny, and you would think that I would be pleased to be making this money. But you know what little old me did back in the day? Lacking wisdom, I came up with this great idea. I said, you know what? Or a lack of idea is the better way to say it. I said, I'm not going to allow YouTube to run ads on my videos because the ads on my videos are going to be for my competitors, and I don't want them to have any advantage over my content. Now, this isn't completely foolish, right? I can see why I was thinking that to a certain degree, but at the same time, I should have just changed the frame, the way I was looking at this, because I like to say if you change the frame, you change the game. Instead of me being so concerned about anyone advertising on my channel, I should have been thinking, Israel, make content so good for free that people are rushing to skip those ads to get straight into your video. That would have made me a lot of money from ad revenue, and that would have built up my business anyway, as I was doing, because I'm creating more content and giving people more reasons to view more of my content and buy my products and services. I had a channel with about 2,000 subscribers. So it's not even like this was some massive audience that I should have been concerned about losing. But there's so many examples like this I can point you to, which would have made it so much easier for me at the time to continue to build and build a successful business. Wisdom is the key to success in anything that you are going to do. If I could go back and talk to myself, I'd say, hey, listen, I know you think you know everything, but one thing that you need to get a lot of is wisdom. So go and get it ASAP. Number 2, I learned this the hard way, and sadly a lot of people learn it the hard way, or in fact walk away from the game before they even get good. And that is learning marketing. What is marketing? Marketing is able to showcase what you do or what you have to loads of different people in a way which causes them to draw towards you and not run away from you. And what you're going to realize is, and one thing I'll say is, if you think about these 5 things I'm going to give you today, they're all things which can apply in so many different areas of life. They can apply in big things, but they can also apply in small things as well. And when you get that congruency, that consistency throughout, it allows you to build something big, which can actually last forever. And this is something I find myself laughing about all too often when I think about some of the things I'm doing now in comparison to the things I was doing back then, and also at the time getting some sort of success. It still mind boggles me today. So one of the products I recently created for my business was a product called, get this, 24/7 leads. And that's a product where I show people how to get leads rolling into their business 24/7. But on the flip side, I was thinking about some of the products I made in my first business, some of the first products I made which didn't sell because the marketing was terrible. I would call a product something like the premium pack. I would call it something like, what else did I call it?
2 hours later.
I can't even remember. That just shows you how bad some of these names were. But the point is, think about the two lines of products. One product is anybody who's struggling in business to get sales, to get leads, etc. If they watch any of my content and they hear about, or they somehow find out that Israel has a product in his business called 24/7 leads, and it's going to show them how to get leads rolling into their business 24/7, that is something which is going to pull them closer and get them drawn closer to what I'm talking about. But if they now heard that, you know what, Israel has this product called the Premium Pack, yeah, there are a few people out there who will be like, ooh, I'm intrigued. But we don't do business, and we're not going to build great, massive businesses by the few who are intrigued. Most people are going to think to themselves, what is the Premium Pack? How can the Premium Pack help me? That's too much thinking, and then they're going to be gone. Even if you think back to this video and how I started this by talking about if I could go back and start business again, these are the 5 things I would do ASAP. That's the kind of thing which will draw people, because I'm talking about things I will do quickly, things that I will do which obviously got me to a position, especially when you think about all the business which was making thousands of dollars a month. That is something desirable to a lot of people. So if Israel is here saying that, you know what, these are things I will do ASAP, even though I was in that position, a lot of people want to know that information because they want to follow. But imagine on the flip side, if I said something completely just boring and dull, like, yeah, I'm going to talk about business talk. People want to know what I would say are the 5 major things I would do if I could go back in time in order to build a business which can make thousands of dollars a month. But how many people are interested in just a general business talk? One is good marketing, or at least even just basic marketing. One is terrible marketing. It took me quite some time before I understood that, you know what, it's not about who is online, who wants to help people, that gets to really help people. It's the people that are learning to market and also want to help people that can help people. And this is why marketing is such a powerful skill that we need to develop. Number 3, my oh my, this is something which has helped me greatly. And that is to simplify everything. Again, you can take this from a macro level, you can take this to a micro level, but you want to see this congruency all the way throughout. So what does it mean to simplify everything? I mean simplify everything. Simplify the content that you make, simplify the marketing messages that you're bringing out. So for example, don't make things a lecture, do not make things complicated, simple. ABCs, 1, 2, 3s. You want it to be digestible for people that you're creating content for example. You want your products to solve solutions for them in a simple and clear way, so they know, okay, I take step 1, then I take step 2, then I take step 3, then I take step 4, and then I take step 5, and then I'll be at the end destination, which is where I reach the goal. If you now take people that are consuming your content through these complicated mechanisms, and you start making it difficult, because most people think to themselves today, the reason I'm in this pit right now, where I'm working 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week trapped in the system, is because of my school days. So you want to make things fun and simple and clear, so people can actually take the action and be empowered to move forward in a mighty way. Think back to the products I talked about earlier, 24/7 leads, Premium Pack. One is extremely simple, one is extremely difficult. And the simpler you make things for people who are watching your content or buying your products or anything along those lines, the easier and more likely they are to take the action and move closer and closer to success in their life. I mentioned this in a video recently where I spoke about how you can captivate your audience with your content and convert them into customers. And one of the examples I give is Jesus. Jesus is so wise, but most of the content that he created, the messages, the talks he gave, were based on simple, clear things. He's talking about money, he's talking about sheep, he's talking about shepherds, he's talking about kings and kingdoms and land and business and different things, which everybody he was talking to could understand. I mentioned this in a training recently, and I spoke about how the powerful thing about Jesus is his talks, his messages, his content can be understood by an elderly person, a middle-aged person, and even a young child. When you can communicate, when you can talk in a way which any age group can understand, at least on a basic level, what you're talking about, that is when you have reached gold. If you go through every area of your business and you just ask yourself, how can I make this simpler? You will make so much more money. Number 4, I learned this the hard way, but this is also linked as well to the second one I spoke about today, which was about marketing, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But number 4 is sell your product before you build it. Before you build any major products, sell it first. So when I was talking earlier about, we're on a theme now, right? When I spoke earlier about the premium pack, I made the mistake of making that first. So when nobody bought it, I was distraught. I felt rejected. I felt like nobody liked me and I wasn't going to be able to help anyone. But when you sell a product before you create it and then deliver it to them after the fact, you no longer feel anymore like nobody wants me, or I've done all of this work and nobody cares about me. You put yourself in a position where you're like, okay, they want what I have and now I'm going to give it to them. This actually allows you to make it better for your customer. When it's better for the customer, they are happy, you're happy, and everybody's happy. But here's one of the blessings that I actually got from doing that. The main product that I had in my previous business, which made me most of my money, was a product that I created first. But I did 2 things. The first thing I did, which I said earlier, I'll tell you about, was I learned how to market. So I realized I had this product and I said, you know what, well, I'm not going to totally just rebuild the product because the product's actually good. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to learn how to market and sell this product so people buy it. So this is sort of like a safety harness, because when you know how to market and sell, you can sell pretty much anything. But one thing I'll say is this: when you have a product or service which isn't sold based on what people are raising their hands for and saying, yes, I want, you can still sell it, but it's much harder. When you change the frame, you change the game. When you sell a product to someone and then you create it for them, it makes it easier to sell because you've done all the heavy lifting after, instead of trying to do it all first. That main product I had before took me days and weeks to create. But something you have which you can sell today and then take people through a journey tomorrow or the next week or the next month or the next year, etc. I promise you, if you sell any major products that you are thinking about making before you build it, you will save yourself so much stress and you're still going to make money and you'll make it even faster. Trust me. Now, I mentioned at the start of this video, number 1 is the best advice I can give you, because if you instill wisdom all over your life, in your business and different areas, it's going to continue to increase. But I also said that the 5th one I'm going to share with you today, which is next, is going to create joy and passion and allow you to feel happy along your journey. And that is to be the person that you were created to be. If I could go back and start my business again, I would be the person fully who I'm supposed to be, because that internal conflict for me was a big reason why that business failed, because I felt like I was suppressing big parts of my life in order to continue the business. And because at that point in time, I wasn't strong enough mentally to realize that, you know what, you can be who you are and you can teach and do things in the way that bring out who you are, that bring you joy and happiness. And it's not necessarily going to compromise the success you're having in business. This is why today I can teach you how to build a business that booms based on biblical principles, because I'm not afraid to talk about my Christian faith or to teach from the Bible or anything along those lines, because I know who I'm supposed to be. If I could go back and install these 5 things in my business, I know my business would be successful, not only for a season, but for the long term. And because I spoke about selling in this video, one video you should watch next is this video here, which shows you how to sell your products and services without feeling slimy inside or feeling salesy. Watch that next. Go in and God bless.